Welcome back to Action 2 News at 6. Sports injuries can happen very suddenly, can be very serious too. Oftentimes the choices made in the first few seconds or minutes can lead to life-altering complications, especially if we're talking about spinal cord injuries. Almost 1/3 of all childhood injuries are sports related. Today, Emplify Health held a special emergency training session ahead of football season, running through real-world scenarios to make sure they're prepared to handle anything that would come their way, including heat illness, spinal injuries, fractures, dislocations, as well as heart and lung related health problems.
It's critically important to have this background and this training. To have that comfort when you go onto the field as an athletic trainer is super important. To be able to run through these situations and these scenarios in a controlled and calm environment is way easier to do than all of a sudden having to face it on the field at that time when an emergency arises.
And according to Johns Hopkins Hospital, more than 3.5 million children under the age of 14 are injured playing sports or other recreational activities every year.